Tonight, we'll look into survey results for teachers in Madison County willing to become vaccinated. Tonight, we'll look into survey results for teachers in Madison County willing to become vaccinated. Then, we'll investigate another higher education emergency relief fund from UGA distributed to students. Later, an update on UGA baseball's opening weekend. All of this and more coming up on Grady Newsource.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening. I'm Jessica Green with Grady Newsource. Tonight, we'll explore COVID-19's various impacts on Northeast Georgia, from those incarcerated to its effect on dental health. First, we'll look at 4 new mass vaccination sites opened in Georgia. The state of Georgia opened 4 mass vaccination sites to the public this morning, located in Albany, Macon, and Hateville. These sites are aimed at making sure minorities have the access to the life-saving vaccine. To receive a vaccination at one of these sites, make sure to make an appointment prior to arriving. Residents can check their eligibility and schedule their appointment at myvaccinegeorgia.com. According to state data, Georgia has been shipped 1.9 million shots and has administered about 89% of those, which is about 1.7 million shots. Jackson County leaders expect to see a rise in COVID-19 vaccinations this week. Grady Newsource reporter Katie Fugit has more.
Jackson County has seen an increase in COVID-19 vaccinations over the past month, and Chairman Tom Crow of the County Commission expects that trend to continue this week. According to the Georgia Department of Public Health, Jackson County has administered more than 4,000 COVID-19 vaccines to date. Of that, over 1,300 vaccines were administered in the past week, more than double the week prior. Jackson County opened a new point of distribution at the Jackson Ag facility a couple of weeks ago, which will be open every Wednesday through March 17th. Crow said the Ag facility alone administered 500 vaccines last week, and he expects that number to increase to 700 or 800 this week.
We're still on Jackson County level. We're doing all we can to be ready as the additional vaccine becomes ready to have our staff in place to assist the state Department of Health.
Georgia is currently in Phase 1A+ of vaccine distribution, so those who are eligible include people age 65 and older, their caregivers, first responders, and health workers. Vaccination sites can be located through the Georgia Department of Public Health website, which also includes instructions for scheduling a vaccination appointment per location. Katie Fugit, Grady Newsource.
The Madison County School District conducted a survey asking school staff members if they would like to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. Grady Newsource reporter Adalberto Solis explains the results.
60% of the 457 staff members that responded to a survey said yes to receiving COVID-19 vaccine when available. Lisa Morgan, president of the Georgia Association of Educators, cautioned about the wording being used in these types of surveys.
The question is very key. When you're doing a survey of people, the way you word the question can often influence your results.
The CDC updated its guidelines last week to reflect changing health environments due to the pandemic. The guidelines do not mention vaccinations, with the exception of saying that vaccines should not be considered a condition for reopening schools for in-person instruction. The CDC urges school districts to adopt the changes made to ensure that the school district is safe for students and teachers. These guidelines include 5 mitigation strategies: universal mask wearing, physical distancing, hand washing, cleaning facilities, and highly touched surfaces, and contact tracing.
Essential mitigation strategies that must be in place are those things that we know must happen. And given the fact that students will not be vaccinated, we must continue all of those policies, even.
The Madison County School District amended its COVID-19 protocols during their January Board of Education meeting to ensure that they're following CDC guidelines. Teachers will soon be in line to get the COVID-19 vaccine, but students, on the other hand, might have to wait a little bit longer. But health experts believe that the vaccine could be available for some children and adolescents before the beginning of the school year. The CDC and the Georgia Association of Educators urges the school districts to continue with health protocols established by health experts. From Grady Newsource, this is Alberto.
COVID cases are mostly down across the state of Georgia and our area. Here's the latest county-by-county information. In Athens-Clarke County, there were 209 new cases reported last week. The 7-day case average as of yesterday was 29.9, down from 39.7 just 1 week ago. That is the biggest drop of average cases in our area. The downward trend of cases continued in Barrow, Madison, and Oconee and Jackson counties. The only place with an increase of the 7-day case was Oglethorpe County. Last week, they had 28 new cases, but their 7-day average cases increased from 2.9 the week before to 4. The Oglethorpe County Sheriff's Department is adapting the arrest and detainment procedure in response to COVID-19 pandemic. Grady Newsource reporter Xavier Hood reports.
In light of the coronavirus pandemic, the Oglethorpe County Sheriff's Department, like many others, has had to adapt their procedures when it comes to arresting and processing. The main challenge the department faces is that officers are making arrests without prior knowledge of any possible exposure a person has come in contact with. Sheriff David Gabriel describes the difficulty in implementing COVID guidelines for his staff as it interferes with typical procedure.
Do a passenger side approach just because it adds, it adds distance in there. I can't say they always do that because people are creatures of habits. And when you start doing it, it slides and slips, and we remind them to do this.
Reform Georgia, a nonprofit criminal justice policy think tank and advocacy organization, says each admission is an opportunity for exposure and spread into and out of the facility and into vulnerable communities. The CDC has clear recommendations for detention and correctional facilities to use as a guide in order for facilities to operate safely. Resident nurse Leanne Hatchcock explains the process how they are keeping operations safe.
When they first initially come in, they're on isolation and quarantine for 5 days away from everybody to make sure they don't show any signs of COVID. Their temperatures are checked daily, and after those 5 days, they're released to general population if they show no signs.
Northeast Georgia Health District said in an email that law enforcement officers and personnel are eligible for vaccination under Phase 1A Plus of Georgia's vaccine distribution plan, as are individuals 65 and older, regardless of their incarceration status. This is Xavier Hood, Grady Newsource.
Applications are open to be the inaugural Athens Poet Laureate. Following Amanda Gorman reciting her poem, The Hill We Climb, at President Biden's inauguration, the Athens Cultural Affairs Commission announced the creation of this program that they would be funding and administering.
We all agreed that we should do this as a group, in large part to kind of serve as a remedy to the fact that most of what we do is visual art. So with this Poet Laureate initiative, we are opening up more opportunities for non-visual artists, in this case, poets, whether that's spoken word poetry, those with more of a performative focus on the poetry, or published poets.
The Athens Poet Laureate will read at public events and promote poetry throughout the community engagements and social media. The application deadline is March 2nd. Students at the University of Georgia are making different financial decisions given the distribution of unexpected funds through the Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund as a part of the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act. Jayla Johnson has more on the story.
So I'm a first generation student. So usually the last time I gave it to my mom just kind of to help pay for her immigration fees with her lawyers and stuff. That was what I used the summer money for. And so this time around is just to kind of help pay some of the bills that she needs to get paid.
With the distribution of these funds coming before Americans have received their second stimulus check, some UGA students are determining how they can send their money home to help their family. Dr. Michael Thomas, a financial planning housing, and consumer economics professor for UGA says this feeling of having to help your family financially when you come into money is a generational financial issue that is being heightened by COVID-19.
So what happens though is that we never really create wealth. We kind of stay stagnant, right? Because all the money is going back and it's never going forward to create something greater.
Dr. Thomas says we should look for long-term solutions for these generational problems.
Even though the economy is doing well, the economy is not doing well everywhere and for everyone. So this issue that you're speaking to now is something that's always existed. And the fact that we have these funds are things that we should carry into perpetuity.
Dr. Thomas says he hopes students who are struggling financially are able to apply for these types of funds again in the future after the pandemic. Students who did not originally receive funds can apply to appeal through the Office of Student Financial Aid website by February 26th. Jayla Johnson, Grady Newsource.
Madison County has added 5 more officers to its police department. More on that after the break.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here?
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where do cats go on vacation? New York.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire? Only you can prevent wildfires.
The Madison County Board of Commissioners passed a new budget to help increase pay wages for the Sheriff's Office. Grady Newsource reporter Zach Miles has more on the effects of this increased budget.
The new budget will help fill the ranks lost in the Madison County Sheriff's Office, which is at a high turnover rate recently. The Sheriff's Office has lost 18 deputy officers over the past 3 years. Before the budget approval, the office had 5 openings. All of these spots were filled within 1 week after the approval. 3 days later, after the new budget, 2 position listings were posted on the Madison County Sheriff's Office Facebook page. The Sheriff's Office is still looking for employees to work in the jail along with deputy officers. Captain Jimmy Patton of the Madison County Sheriff's Office felt the effects of the short staff.
Patrol guys are having, like they haven't answered more calls. Calls are backing up. So, more reports they have to do at the end of the day, more calls they have to answer, and investigations. The guys are, their caseloads are larger because, they don't have as much help.
The $4 to $5 per hour pay increase helps support a competitive wage compared to surrounding police departments in Northeast Georgia. Still, Madison County Board of Commissioner Chairman Todd Higdon is worried about the future of law enforcement in Madison County.
And I hate to say this, but it's a part of public service that is physically dying off because the reward, it's like you're not getting paid enough annually to compensate
the liabilities that you carry on a daily basis and or the accusations of being put through something that may or may not be true.
Captain Patton encourages all interested applicants to apply on their website at MadisonCountySheriffGA.org. Check out Grady Newsource's website on Thursday morning with more on this story. From Madison County, I'm Zach Miles with Grady Newsource.
A recent survey by the American Association of Endodontists reveals that more than half of Americans have put off their dental checkups. Grady Newsource reporter Irena Plunkett tells us why this has got some Athens dentists worried.
If you woke up today, chances are your morning probably looked a little something like this. But if you're part of the 21% of Americans who reported forgetting to brush their teeth in the morning while working or attending class from home during lockdown, you're not alone. According to the American Association of Endodontists, nearly 32% of Americans have experienced a disruption to their usual dental hygiene habits, working or attending virtual classes from home during lockdown. That's more than half of Americans that say that the COVID-19 pandemic has caused them to put off their routine dental checkups. This was the case for Landon Eshman, who hasn't been to the dentist in a year out of fear from the pandemic.
Because it's hard with COVID. I mean, in my case, I don't necessarily want to go out and do that, especially during this time. And I feel like it's just hard with people, people who work probably have a much harder strain to get that done, especially during COVID. I feel like it's just scheduling conflicts and just being scared, not knowing what awaits you in the dentist's office.
It's concerns like this that worry Matthew McRae III, a clinical manager at McRae Family Dental.
Come in now, it's been a year, almost a year, it is okay to come out and get that done where it needs to be done, because what may have started out to be a small filling, over time, and if you're snacking and doing, not brushing your teeth and doing the right thing, that little filling can turn into something even worse, maybe a root canal or even, more distraction, later on.
So if you're planning on brushing up on your dental hygiene this year, the CDC says it's best to look out for providers that wear a surgical mask and proper PPE during the entire procedure. Providers should also sanitize their dental tools often and post visual alerts requiring masks upon entry into the building. For Grady Newsource, Irena Plunkett.
Next, with Grady Newsource weather, Athens will get a break from the cold winter this week with temperatures rising to the mid-60s. Also, winter storms delay the shipment of COVID-19 vaccines across the United States, including Georgia and other surrounding counties.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Is your family in need of more quality time together?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Nature is best enjoyed together. So bring the whole family to discover all the bonding and stress-reducing benefits parks and forests have to offer. Visit discovertheforest.org and trade in phone time for family time.
Birds, squirrels, chipmunks, grass, worms, bugs, trees, rocks, and other objects in nature cannot talk. If you'd like to have a conversation while visiting nature, you will need to bring humans along. We strongly recommend starting with your family.
La 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 la, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
And now, the weather.
Hello everyone, I'm Jessica Thornton bringing you your Northeast Georgia weather forecast for the week. Starting off, let's take a look at tonight's forecast with the evening planner. Tonight at 6 o'clock, we're looking at 54 degrees, cloudy but sunny. Then we're going to gradually drop to 48 degrees at 9 and 40 degrees at midnight with a 60% chance of showers. For the rest of the week, you'll see that we creep into the mid to upper 60s Tuesday through Thursday, partly cloudy Wednesday and Thursday, and then on Friday we get back to our cold weather in the low 50s with a 50% chance of rain. Moving to an update with the winter storms, counties in Georgia are canceling vaccine appointments for the next few days because of shipment delays due to the winter storm, according to the Georgia Department of Public Health. DPH is asking the public to remain patient for appointments. Thank you for watching Grady Newsource Weather. I'm Jessica Thornton.
Up next, reporter Lauren Swinson with your Grady Sports.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Is the seat supposed to be forward-facing or rear-facing? Did they move to a booster seat too soon? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Don't think you know. Know you know.
I'm a single mother, and I was the main one working, so I never thought that I could go back to school, you know? My sister, my mother, everybody wanted to help me with my kids. I could not have gotten my diploma without my family.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
And now, sports.
I'm Lauren Swinson with your Grady Newsource Sports. UGA baseball is back in season. The Bulldogs took Foley Field on Friday night and got their first series win, 3-1 against Evansville. The number 22 ranked Lady Dogs basketball team rocked the Stags Sunday afternoon when they defeated the number 21 ranked Lady Volunteers basketball team 57-55. This is the second time the Bulldogs upset the Volunteers this season, and the first time since the 1984 to 1985 campaign that the Bulldogs have had a season sweep against Tennessee. Meanwhile, local high school boys basketball teams are heading to the state playoffs. The Clark County Gladiators defeated Eastside on Saturday, 62-44, to become Region 8's 5A champs and head to the state playoffs as the 8th seeded team. Cedar Shoals also defeated North Oconee High School on Saturday, 82-64, to become Region 8's 4A champs and also head to the state playoffs. The state tournament is set to begin this Tuesday. I'm Lauren Swinson, reporting.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Can we get strawberries?
Okay.
An Athens rock band made a donation to the Clark County School District that would assist elementary school programs. Grady Newsource reporter Asmara Yacoub has more.
Widespread Panic donated $25,000 to their charity organization called Widespread Panic Tunes for Tots. The money will be distributed amongst all CCSD elementary school programs. Dan Smith, the district's Fine Arts, Health, and PE curriculum coordinator, says the donation will be extremely beneficial for elementary students in Clark County as music is important to a child's education.
In school situations, some of those fine arts are kind of marginalized, but we've got a really strong community that supports the arts, so I think that's kind of evident in this donation from, a really famous Athens band.
A study done at the University of Toronto at Mississauga finds that early childhood music education can lead to an increased IQ. The study showed a small increase in IQs of 6-year-olds that were given piano and voice lessons. Primary music education can also increase spatial temporal skills as well as improve test scores. Christian Papel, a piano performance major at the University of Georgia, has been taking private piano lessons since he was 9.
I'm pretty focused, and that's just because with piano and for all music students, any instrument, you have to focus so much on being in one room alone, doing what you have to do, and so it creates a lot of dedication.
George Salif, former member of the Redcoat Band at UGA, says music has improved upon many skills he has to use on a daily basis.
I think music's definitely, it helps with multitasking. That's something I've always thought, because not only are you reading the music in front of you, or you have it memorized, so it's something that becomes second nature when you play something with repetition. You just do it over and over again. And then you're also watching the conductor, the band director, the drum majors, whoever it is that's giving you the tempo. You're listening to the drums for the beat. And then you're also listening across the room. Or
Dan Smith says the donation will go towards purchasing new equipment and instruments for elementary music programs in Clark County. Grady Newsource, Asmara Yacoub.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jessica Green, signing off with Grady Newsource.
Is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So, how does a tissue dance?